All right, so today we're going to be taking a look at Lesson 33, and this one kind of deals with how we see things.
Yeah.
Both around us and the world in general, but also how we see the thoughts in our own minds. So before we dive into all that, why don't we just read the actual lesson?
Okay.
And then we can kind of talk about it, break it down.
Sounds good.
Okay, so Lesson 33 says, I could see peace instead of this.
That's a pretty simple sentence.
Yeah, it's
But it packs a punch.
it's short, it's sweet, but it seems like there's a lot there.
There is.
So let's maybe unpack it a little bit, huh? What do you think when you hear that? Like, I can see peace instead of this.
Well, I think it kind of, obviously every lesson builds on the ones that came before. And so, we've been talking a lot about how our perception creates our reality.
Right.
And, kind of taking responsibility for our thoughts and our feelings. And I think this lesson really brings it all together and is saying, hey, you always have a choice. Like, whatever is happening,
Right.
whatever you're experiencing, there's always another way to look at it.
So, like, instead of focusing on, like, the problem or the thing that's bugging you, you can choose to look for the peace in it.
Yeah, exactly. And it's not always easy,
Right.
especially when we're in the middle of, something challenging, but it's always an option.
So how do we actually do that, though? Like, in real life, how do you actually shift your perspective to see peace in, like, a stressful situation?
Well, the course recommends that we actually spend some time practicing this,
Okay.
like setting aside maybe 5 minutes in the morning and 5 minutes in the evening
Okay.
to really kind of internalize this concept.
Okay. And what does that look like? What are you supposed to do during those 5 minutes?
So basically, it's about observing both your surroundings and your thoughts, but doing it with a sense of detachment.
Detachment. What does that even mean?
Yeah.
Like not caring.
No, not exactly not caring, but it's more about, like we've been talking about, separating your identity from your thoughts and feelings
Okay.
and just kind of witnessing them without judgment.
Huh. So it's like creating some space between you and like the stuff that's going on in your head.
Right, exactly.
Interesting. Okay, so 5 minutes in the morning, 5 minutes in the evening, kind of practicing this detachment and observation. But what about the rest of the day? When you're like, dealing with real life stuff.
Well, that's where it really gets interesting. The course suggests that whenever we're feeling upset or disturbed by something, we can use this lesson as a tool to shift our perspective.
So like if I'm stuck in traffic and I'm like ready to road rage,
Yeah.
I could just be like, I could see peace instead of this.
Exactly. You can use that phrase to remind yourself that there's another way to look at the situation.
So instead of getting all worked up, I could choose to see it as an opportunity to practice patience or like listen to a podcast or something.
Yeah, exactly. And the thing is, it's not about denying reality or pretending that things are perfect when they're not.
Right.
It's more about choosing a perspective that doesn't rob you of your inner peace.
That makes sense. So it's not like you're ignoring the problem or anything. You're just choosing to focus on a different aspect of it, the aspect that brings you peace.
Yeah, exactly. It's like if you're looking at a painting, you can choose to focus on the brush strokes or the colors.
Okay.
Or you can choose to step back and appreciate the overall image.
Right.
You're still looking at the same painting, but your experience of it is completely different.
That's a really good analogy.
And, I think that's a big part of what this course is trying to teach us.
Yeah, totally.
Like, we have so much more power over our experience than we realize. And it all starts with our perception.
Okay, so what would you say is like the key takeaway from this lesson?
Well, I think the biggest thing is this idea that we always have a choice in how we see things, and that by choosing to see peace instead of whatever is upsetting us, we can experience a greater sense of inner peace and happiness.
Okay, so as our listeners are going about their day to day, what's like one thing they can do to start applying this lesson in their own lives?
I would encourage everyone to just try using that phrase. Okay,
Yeah.
I could see peace instead of this.
Okay.
Whatever they find themselves feeling stressed or upset, and just see what happens.
Yeah, just notice how it shifts your perspective.
Exactly.
And maybe even changes the outcome of the situation. Awesome. Well, I think that's a great place to leave it for today.
Sounds good.
So until next time, remember, you could always choose to see peace instead of whatever's in front of you. Thanks for listening.
See you next time.
Oh,